Howdy, Evan Gao, indie developer of Story Origin here. I recently had a conversation with Dale Roberts about self publishing and how to build your audience. He had a lot of great advice. In particular, he has saved a ton of time and money and been able to find new reviewers through distributing audiobook promo codes with Story Origin, how he uses Story Origin to vet his potential reviewers and even beta readers, and how he's also seamlessly integrated feedback from his beta readers that he gets through Story Origin with his new foray into fiction and Kindle Vella. He's got a lot of great advice. I've created some highlights from our conversation, so let's go ahead and jump into them.
You have such an amazing array of tools in there. The primary ones that I've used is the advanced reader copies. I've used the beta reading feature, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's really neat. I thought for sure it was just going to be like I would set up, one book here. And see, I'm doing a Kindle Vella series and doing the beta reading in there. And I found out that you can actually do your series and keep it all underneath that series in one little area there. And I thought that was just tremendous. And then the one that I use, and this is actually pretty cool. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but the audiobook promo codes. Now, see, I've got a ton of the Findaway ones. And I was like, okay, I really don't have the time to sit here and toss these out, but I can always get like a landing page and things set up. Admittedly, I probably pushed that link maybe once, twice, but even before I had pushed it, I was getting organic requests. So this means that Story Origin is driving some type of traffic to my landing page because I wasn't doing it, and it continues to collect it because I haven't had an email push out for this. So I wanted to kind of share that one while I was thinking about it. So it's just mainly those three features in the hundreds, for sure, in the hundreds. Unfortunately, if I had my dashboard in front of me, I could probably tell you the exact number. But I just know that I'm very fortunate that I have the YouTube channel, and the content that I was putting out for nonfiction lends itself to that. So I was able to easily get advanced reader copies sent out and people joining the team on there. Everybody. Amazon, where I'm usually focused on for reviews, it really does kind of thrive on recency and consistency. So the more recent the sales are, the more recent the reviews are, anything that can kind of give those specific metrics drives relevancy. So every now and then I would just go ahead and open that up, but not make it publicly available, and just invite those people into that. So you don't always have to shut down and delete your ARC thing. Keep it inside your Story Origin dashboard, because it really does come in handy later on if for some reason you're like, ooh, I need to get a bump in reviews on this one. Let's see about getting a couple of other readers. So what I want to do is I go and I look at the reviews, and I try to see what type of reviews are they putting there. Are they just putting in 5 stars, love this book? I want something a little bit more quality, a little bit more substance, something that people can actually sink their teeth into. In fact, I'd almost prefer a 1-star review with some substance and explanation than a 5-star review that says, great read, thanks. What do I do with this? So look at that. And here's the cool thing is, when they set up that free account with Story Origin as a reader or as a consumer, it starts to set up like that database. So it shows if they've reviewed something of yours before. Did they commit to something and they didn't leave a review? I used to do ARCs, and I had to manage everything from the cloud storage to reaching out. Like I don't like messing around with that. I love that Story Origin automates a lot of that process, including like one of my favorite things, that there's an additional email that's sent out after the launch of a book on an ARC, where it's like, hey, you might want to go leave a review. I love that feature because it removes that. It just removes that awkwardness. Like, that makes my day because I feel less awkward. And Lord knows I've got enough of that throughout the day. I used to have to take all of those codes. I'd reach out to my assistant and have her manage the outreach. She would have to promote it. People would have to go to a landing page. They'd have to sign up. There was just a whole lot of friction involved. And not to mention the fact that I'm having to pay my assistant that time. And it's not like she's like some bargain basement $2.50 per hour type person. I'm paying a substantial amount for her. I have to manage that stuff. Now all she has to do is just use the link and go, because setting up any type of listing, anybody that has been hesitant, this is my stamp of approval on this one. Putting together your listing, whether it's beta copies or ARC readers or any number of those things, it literally takes minutes. Like I'm like, boom, 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 got it all typed together. I go ahead, whip it out, and it's set. So doing that part is just so intuitive. I probably could get her to go into my dashboard and do it for me, but there's a Control A type personality here. So now all she has to do is just put it out into the email newsletter or social media in some capacity. So it does make it a lot simpler, removes a lot of that friction. Not to mention, think about the hours of work that I have to employ her, because she has to send out the code, follow up with that person, track that in a spreadsheet. I would just say at this point, I couldn't be certain, but I know that I'm saving hours of time. And not to mention, with Story Origin, a premium account runs about $10 per month. Hello, that's a easy, because I'm spending way more on my assistant per hour than $10. So it's literally like having your own coupon code and a cheat code for your business as an author. I just pretty much put an APB out over on my YouTube community tab, probably on Facebook and probably on Twitter. I was only looking for no more than about 5 beta readers. That's typically the most that I'll ever work with. Previous to using Story Origin, I was doing this the hard way again. It was kind of like, okay, I'd send out the document and, I would just have them turn on track changes on like certain areas that they wanted to just kind of leave a note and such. Yeah, I kind of like the fact that we can just go ahead, copy and paste the text over into Story Origin. And then people can go along and make notes, and you'll see those notes and you can filter them out based on who's doing the editing, what's the note that they're doing, and where it's at. I think that that's absolutely genius. And it also gets it to where there's like a read and unread type feature and a couple other little markers I think that you have on it. I think that's brilliant, because sometimes as I'm going through and I'm fixing things on my document here, I might probably forget, oh, shoot, I forgot that one. I need to go back and fix that one right away. But the beta process is absolutely amazing. It's streamlined everything for me. And I anticipate I'll probably be doing this for my nonfiction books too. It's just an absolute game changer for me. It's so hard to compare since I'm brand new to fiction, and I almost anticipated I was going to get a lot more notes on fiction than when I do nonfiction. It's not me trying to be cocky and saying, well, I'm the king of all nonfiction writing, but the feedback that I got on Story Origin was probably way more than what I get over on just nonfiction and such. But I was ready for that. I do like the fact that it's not 5 iterations of feedback that I have to kind of go, okay, let me go through all this on this checklist. Let me go through all this on this checklist. And so you're having to go through your document, if you got 5 beta readers, 5 times. Whereas with the Story Origin, you have them all together on one dashboard, and you can be able to tick away at it. And you only need to go through your manuscript once. And I think that part is genius. It was so tough. I literally just did this. I Google searched up like what you should be asking your beta readers, because I'm just not used to being in the fiction realm. I'm in the nonfiction realm, so usually it's concrete like type things like, was this unclear? How do you think I could have done better? Were these visuals good? That type of a thing is typically what I'm looking for in nonfiction. So fiction, unfortunately, since I'm just so new to this, all I did was, are my characters believable? I remember was the one thing. Is the dialogue, does it make sense? That type of a thing. And it was like a list of like 7 or 8 specific questions that I wanted to kind of draw out of them. My big one that I asked was, if you're going to get beta copies, if you're going to get beta access to this, you must be a fan of this niche, which it's post-apocalyptic horror. I want you to read this because this is something that you're in, because I want to know what a reader thinks of this, and not necessarily just a peer because I'm not looking for peer review. I'm looking for actual reader feedback. So that way I can make this manuscript better. Get an on there. I tell every author, if there's anything that you're going to, any one piece of advice that you would take from me in all of self-publishing with Dale and the content I put out there is have an email list. It's an insurance policy. It's a way that you can be able to take your readers and your followers with you wherever you wish to go, whether you want to publish on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or wherever else, or even just independently publish and fulfill those things. So having an email list is absolutely critical, mission critical in all of this. That's really the best advice I can give to everybody. Amazon better. Get an email marketing service set up. I know for most authors, you're cash strapped, so investing more into this is going to be almost absurd. So you can find any number of services out there that are free up to a certain point. Get that service set up and put things into place. Some best practices would include that you have a call to action in your book in the front and in the back, or as a minimum, one or the other. I would recommend at least the front because people can be able to do the see inside, or if you happen to be on a bookshelf in a brick and mortar store, people can open up that front page right there. Oh, here's an email newsletter, or here's probably something, a reader's club. You can entice them with specific things. So if you're a fiction author, maybe have like a prequel of some sort, or maybe just an offshoot of a book that you already have out there, and you can make it short. You don't need to go full novel on this, but create something that's going to entice and bring your fiction readers in. Now, if you're nonfiction, super simple, dead simple. All right, just figure out what your ideal reader's pain point is and how it relates to the book that you're trying to entice them to join your email newsletter, and you create a solution for their problem. That's it. Like literally, I can't tell you, I've had tens of thousands of subscribers through my fitness list, all because of a one-page report on a 4-minute fat burning workout. It was ludicrous. I was like, what? What? So it's crazy to kind of think about. Just put those things in place because that's going to set you up for victory. And then wherever you are online, make sure that you have that publicly available. You got to shout it to the mountaintops that you have a VIP readers club. You have to tell people until you're sick of telling them, and then you're just going to tell them more that you have this email, newsletter club, whatever you want to call it, and join in on that right there.